Hello, I'm the official name rater. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today, we're looking at Ceruledge and Ceruledge alone. We already took a look at Armarouge. That would have been the other day, maybe a few days ago. I don't know when this is being posted. But take a look at the channel for the Armarouge episode if you're looking for that one. I feel like I've seen Edgelord on somebody before, and I don't hate the idea of it, but it's certainly nothing that, like, if you want a good Pokemon nickname, you wouldn't pick that. And then Blade Runner, I actually don't mind that one. That one's not a bad one at all. Azulon, we already just talked about it, and I think infinitely better Zuko because Zuko does the sword. Azula, as far as I know, not known for sword. So put Zuko on it instead. I'm also just going to highlight Zero because I saw this a bunch in the Armarouge episode. People were talking about, like, Zero in reference to, like, Mega Man or Mega Man X or something like that. So if you want to, that's fine. Zero is also just kind of a word and a number and a concept that people are obsessed with and use a lot in media. So I suppose there's that too if you just want a name. I saw Meta Knight in the Armarouge episode, so I've, saved that one for here. Not that I knew I was going to be back here, but yeah, that one's a sword boy for you if you want that reference. And it actually kind of pairs well with Flame Bearish, thinking about it. I don't think we've ever seen Riot before as a nickname, but that does give me Binding of Isaac Bayonetta feels. And I'm okay with that one. But I feel like maybe I'd put Riot on a different Pokemon. The first thing that comes to mind is Scrafty. Basically somebody that you imagine actually being in a riot is kind of where my mind goes to. It took me a second to understand this one, but I smiled, so good job. Beyblade. Beat Saber? I'll highlight these two together. Zoro, I know we've seen in the past before, and I can never know when or where we saw it, but we will highlight it because he has sword. Right below it, though, I actually like the idea of Sephiroth because I feel like that kind of fits it a little bit better. I'm not a Final Fantasy person. I know Sephiroth because it's just popular. So, like, One Winged Angel, he got sword, and he's bad guy, and that's all I know. I think fire is involved. Maybe you fight him in a fire arena or something like that. But Sephiroth, Dark Bad Ceruledge, Dark Bad Sword. Why not? There you go. I think that works, and it's certainly a better name than Cloud. Yeah, I think I mentioned this one in the Armarouge episode. Fireman EXE, Blademan EXE, just to complement each other. An idea you can give them paired nicknames to strengthen one nickname with the other. I don't know if you would use them on the same team. I suppose you could, but I don't know if people would. It would be viable. Now, this one I was actually starting to read on this Armarouge episode, but I said, shit, don't be a dumb bitch, stop. So, Fi would be a perfect choice for a Modest Ceruledge because, well, I mean, I don't give a shit about the nature. Just, why would you want Modest? Ceruledge is a physical attacker. Fi is a good nickname because sword and then ghost. So, I support that. I don't know if we've seen that. I feel like we have. But I was also, because I was just seeing how long that other thread was. It's about like 6 pages long, so I had to abandon it after 2 pages. I don't have the patience. But at the bottom I did see Fi. I also saw Demise and then some other Zelda references. Demise is another Skyward Sword reference, actually. And then Garrow was actually on there because of its ghost typing. To die without leaving a corpse. That is the way of the Garrow. That's in reference to Majora's Mask. And I like that idea, but I don't know if I would put it on Ceruledge. I really like the idea of referencing the Garrow, but I'm like, in my mind, I think of the masks and I think of the bombs, because they blow themselves up. No, okay, hold on, I'm getting confused which ones the Garrows were. The Garrows were the guys with 2 swords. Okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Garrow's perfect. I'm thinking about the mask that was in, like, the Poe. So this is the Garrow. I was confusing it with this guy because the mask I thought looked more like him. Like, hopefully that makes sense, but that's why. No, we want this lad. This is Garrow. Go back to that other photo. That one's pretty nice. Grim Shady. I like the pun, but I don't like it enough. And I'm trying to think, because I feel like we've seen other puns with that name, and the first one that comes to mind is maybe Slime Shady. but I don't know. But I know we've seen references to Eminem before many times. Firebolt I personally use for my Talonflame because it fly and it fast and it fire. It makes sense to me. Why it's over here on Ceruledge, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's fast, but like, I would definitely put that somewhere else. Edward Scissorhands I saw a couple times too, or at least saw Scissorhands. I don't know necessarily why I didn't mention it, but yeah, put Scissorhands. Don't put Edward. You can't put all three. So Scissorhands is fine, I guess. Some of these aren't bad. The one that stands out to me that I saw first is going to be Fright Night. That's in reference to Danny Phantom. I don't know if that was what they were going for, but that was what my mind went to. And now I'm imagining Ceruledge riding on top of Spectrier so we can have Fright Night plus the Ghost Horse Nightmare. Make fan art of it, please. Roast Ghost is just kind of funny. Deathmatch doesn't sound bad. There's a nice little play on there because like a match stick. And then Overkill, I don't necessarily hate that one either. I don't know if we've ever seen that or used that before, but that could also kind of work Binding of Isaac Bayonetta style. I'm not sure if they meant to put Lightsaber, but just thought it was life and they put the wrong thing. But on that concept, you could also lean into Star Wars and call it like, I don't know, maybe like Darth Maul or something like that. If you wanted to do that, like he dark and he has swords, so there's an entire era you can lean into if you want. You know what? I've actually seen Xenoblade referenced a few times, but I don't know anything about Xenoblade, so that's why I just haven't talked about it, critiqued it. I almost said criticized. And a lot of the Xenoblade stuff is just like, it doesn't look like names, it looks like the cat stepped on the keyboard kind of shit. So I'm going to highlight Xenoblade as a concept, but just as a name, Xenoblade's not bad either. So rather than trying to think of a character in it, you could also just name it after the franchise. And we can also take that a little step further and maybe do Fire Emblem, another series about sword, and it says fire. He fire. We talked about Armarouge in the last episode. We're over here on Blogatom. This is literally just all the suggestions he put for Armarouge, but he's putting them down again. Hothead is a generic fire-type nickname you could use on some Pokemon. It's going to be better if they have fire on their top of their head, so it actually works as a pun, like Infernape, for instance. But you could do whatever you want. You're an adult, maybe. I suppose they're not all the same, because he's got more, and he put Lancelot in there. Lancelot, Excalibur, the whole Knights of the Round Table shit that's been beaten to death, and honestly, he's kind of just ruined it for me. Like, I was never a fan of it before, but there's a difference when you're like, oh, yeah, that, versus, oh, yeah, that. So, thanks, Namerator. You've ruined certain names for me. Apocalypse, there's another generic Binding of Isaac Bayonetta style virtue name that you could use. Oblivion also kind of fits that one too, I suppose. So, while looking through this earlier with Armarouge, he has like Firestarter, and I thought about Firestorm, and I thought about referencing that, but I was like, nah, I don't really feel like it. But he went ahead and put Firestorm in there. In general, Firestorm is a thing we see sometimes, but I just don't think it's that strong of a name. Like, I don't know why they came up with that as the official name for their character, but it's kind of a silly name to me. So, you could do it, and I definitely think Firestorm's going to fit Armarouge better than Ceruledge, but I am going to be the guy who says, yes, it's a silly sounding name. Okay, well that's the bottom. I definitely think Ceruledge had better results than Armarouge did, and yeah, I think there's more to take from it, and that's not even all of it. Some of the things I have written down that were never even seen on the first page of Google. So I guess Ceruledge is the more popular one. Another idea, wait till the end of the video of course, but we also have another Ghost Sword Pokemon in Dual Blade, what's his name? Aegislash. So if this video didn't help you, there's also that one to check out. But before we decide whether or not this video helped you or not, let's look at the comments. Dual Blade, after the Maple Story Thief job class, where you can use 2 blades as your weapon. Dark Blade, after Yu-Gi-Oh card. I actually did see Dark Blade on, I'm going to tell you right now, this little link right here, you have plenty of nicknames to scroll through. I got tired of doing it, because usually I'm like, oh, look at everything. But after a while, and it seeming like it went on forever, I said, nah, we're good. But Darkblade did cross my mind, and I thought about it because of that Yu-Gi-Oh card, but I was like, nah, don't mention it. It's not that big of a deal. But hey, it was brought up for me, so I guess I don't have to. Bladia after a Mega Man Battle Network virus. That one corresponding with Mega Man is just a different idea. We've seen plenty of Mega Man stuff with Armor Rouge, so you can pair it like that. Edgelord. Yeah, we actually saw Edgelord more than anything. And I'm going to be honest, I think there's too much good potential for Ceruledge in terms of nicknames that if you use Edgelord, you're completely wasting potential. Like right over here on Nick Finder, I went ahead and I just submitted a bunch of things because I just had a bunch of ideas and saw a bunch of things that I liked. So putting Edgelord to me is a waste. Going over the highlights, there was Blade Runner, Garo, and Fi. Those are the ones that we saw that I liked. Garo and Fi being Zelda, Blade Runner just being clever. Another one I had written down, I guess this one came to me because I thought about the Age of Slash episode or something. I don't know. But I have Soul Calibur written down. Remember, we also talked about Fire Emblem and Xenoblade as other references. So Soul Calibur, Ghost Sword, it makes perfect sense. And the other one I have written down that I didn't mention is going to be Baraka from Mortal Kombat, who has swords in arms. So to me, that kind of makes sense. If we're going to pick any sort of Pokemon to represent Baraka from Mortal Kombat, Ceruledge is the way to go. So that's my personal choice. I mean, I don't have a personal choice. I haven't nicknamed any of them, but I honestly think I might just go with Garo, if I'm honest. I kind of really like that. But yeah, Ceruledge has got a lot of good potential for nicknames, and it kind of makes me sad that Armor Rouge was so glossed over, because they both are pretty cool Pokemon and neat designs, but Ceruledge definitely got shit on a lot more, even though he has a lot of potential for good shit. So I don't know, it's weird to me. Any other ideas and suggestions you have, feel free to put in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to the ones you think are good. Let us know what you'd use and recommend. Yeah, our Ceruledge episode was definitely better because that took twice the length that the Armor Rouge episode took.